My name is Krishna. I've been studying or fascinated by astrology since 2005. Since then, I'm traveling with astrology. I have a computer science background, have been to places, been in the industry, but for past 18 months or so, I am dedicated in doing astrology as full time. I have done over 10,000 charts now and came from absolute non-believer how planets gazillion miles away from Earth can influence us. Like absolute negation state of mind is where I started, and slowly evolving through time with astrology, I understood that free will, as it proclaimed to be, is not free, and it only comes through realization. We are in the simulation. That's what I believe in. Different colors, different genres, different genders, but the soul regurgitates over and over unless and until it just does away with gross material aspects of living and merges with the ultimate traction, which can be termed as God. But astrology is a step zero for me. I've done Kundalini meditation and yeah, now I realize ignorance can be a pretty good bliss, and yeah,
No, absolutely.
that's
Because, as I've kind of ventured into this, it is unnerving because you realize that you are more powerless than you want to admit. I wanted to feel like I had more control over my life, but I realized that, you can't always control the currents of the ocean. So, we just got to do the best with what we're dealt. That's fascinating, though, that you come from like a computer science background, a very logical, rational minded background, and now you've gone into this realm because I'm somewhat similar. I dropped out of college as soon as I got there. I was I was not equipped for it. I did computer science as well, not my thing. So you've been doing astrology since 2005. So now you're a professional astrologer doing, I'm assuming, like chart readings or past life regressions. Is there anything you specialize in?
I just do chart readings. I do chart readings from a logical, analytical point of view. To me, religion or organized faith groups, that's one side of it. But since I come from a background where I didn't want to believe it in first place, then I understood that, as you put out, right, we are in the conscious, on the conscious realm, we are in the simulation. And who, what is the driver behind this simulation? We are, I mean, we as in devolved spirit form from the ultimate traction, just assuming the human body, which is the best vehicle to attain to the ultimate traction back again. Astrology gives nine dimensional. Vedic astrology in specific gives nine dimensions or nine themes, which are governed by nine celestial authorities, starting from Sun to South Node K2. And the wheel of time progresses over 12 acts of life, whether be it rocket science sending it to Mars, Saturn, or just a small nut bolt that we fix on the car or missionary. Everything is within the 12 acts of life or house acts governed by the planets. And we incarnate upon the configuration that is set, derived from the previous births. Like, for instance, what is the amount of memories that we leave behind, and what are the burning sensations that need to be satiated? That's what drives. So in Tamil, they say good and bad are not caused by external parties. Rather, it comes from us. Tidum nandrum pirar taravara. Like good and bad are made by us. Heaven and hell, we are the ones choose it, progress towards it, and we are caught up in the simulation. So subconscious mind, that is the third house, the walking, talking, aware mind, that is absolutely under the programming of planets. Um, Remedies and mainstream astrology tries to portray it in more commercial sense, like when sacred becomes commercial in the marketplace, it comes with a baggage. The subconscious mind that is beneath the conscious mind, which is alive and eternal. It is eternal in the spirit form when disembodied, and even after the embodiment, the fifth and the ninth house. That's the realms of God. And the unconscious mind is the state of sleep. That is 12th house. We are rejuvenating. We don't know who we are at the state of sleep. So conscious mind with the body as a vehicle, that is Lagna, or the ascendant rising, which is the vehicle of the soul. We traveled through this life, and the travel path or itinerary is the dasha, or the individualized travel plan, which is derived from moon's nakshatra, or the lunar mansion. Moon is poised at the time of birth. So astrology is a quite deep subject. It's a vast subject. I am a professional astrologer, but I know a little bit of astrology, and I try to put to use by doing at least 10 to 15 charts every single day to prove myself. And yeah, like, yeah, there is a sense of mystical aspect to it. Like, it is absolutely, it is mathematics, measurement from the Lagna, from the ascendant, 12 houses, from marriage, childbirth, buying a house, going through disease, everything can be seen. But it's 100% math, but on top of it, there is some occult involved as well,
So
which is mystical.
I'm familiar, with Western astrology. I recognize first house is like Aries through 12th house of Pisces. Is the Vedic astrology similar, where they have the constellations towards each of the houses, like first house is Aries, second house is Taurus, or is it separated from that? Because I tried to look into it as much as I could. I couldn't find any details on that.
Astrology, Jyotish is one, be it tropical calculus, which is Sayana, without the precision of 23 degree tilt of the Earth. It takes the fixed sun's position from 2,000 years, and it has its own usages for season, climate, etc. And the Vedic astrology, as such, is both Western and Eastern. In my point of view, Vedic goes by sidereal calculus, and sidereal calculus is derived using spherical trigonometry, using 23 degrees of Earth's tilt. So Vedic astrology has predominantly two layers to it. One is the zodiac mansion, from Aries to Pisces, 12 houses, each having 30 degrees split. And that zodiac layer is always in the move. It is dynamic. Beneath the zodiac layer is the nakshatra mandala, or the lunar mansion, which is fixed. So a dial which is fixed, and on top of that is moving zodiac. And nakshatras is what is referred to as constellations in Vedic astrology. So the interplay of 9 planets in between these two layers, filtered and channeled through moon, which governs 8 billion minds, is the basic 101 of Vedic astrology, if it makes sense.
I was looking to it before our interview, and especially I noticed that particular it was about kind of evolving that consciousness and raising up through karma, through getting better and better lives. In your point of view, could you explain that system? What exactly is the top of that? What is the top achievement of trying to get better and better lives through like good karma?
The purpose of astrology, in a nutshell, if we remove this tropical, sidereal, all the bifurcations and divisions among us as human beings, is to see the evolution of the soul. Yeah, soul's purpose and what it is supposed to do and how far it has devolved from the ultimate traction or the pure consciousness. So in astrology, sun represents the fractal soul, the ego, the part of us that is from the God. As them say, we are made in the image of God. It applies true to any and everybody who has human form. And this cuts across all the religions or organized faith groups. So sun is the karak or the significant of the soul. And moon is the significant of the total combobulated memory that we left behind from the previous incarnation. So Earth to from Earth to Moon is the Rashi or the zodiac layer, which is always moving, and from Earth to Sun is the house divisions that are formed on top of the zodiacs. So ascendant, the physical manifest human body, is the vehicle of the soul. So the pinnacle point for us in this human form is to attain salvation. In this modern day and age, people will say, well, I'm not into it. Well, that's your purpose. Your purpose is, if you're not tuned into the spirit concept or faith-based, non-logical element, you will enjoy and try to perceive everything in the material, gross, physical plane. Once you're a little bit evolved, it goes into the emotional state. That is moon. And further from the emotional state is the inertia, the consciousness state. That is the sun. So the purpose or the pinnacle of human life, as seen through Vedic astrology, is to denote and to understand how far we are from the supreme consciousness, to do away with karma and to be part of merging with the singularity.
Okay, that's beautifully put. That actually sums up a lot of what I was reading really well. You seem to have a really fascinating grasp on both, like you were saying, it's kind of merged that Western and ancient astrology. Would you be able, I mean, how quickly can you read charts? Could you read mine?
I could read yours. Thank you for your kind words. Western astrology, like for me, right, to start with, I would say Bible is a codex. And the scriptures, ancient scriptures of Vedas, they are two coded information of both science, physics, math. Yeah, collectively, I can say as scientific codex, which has all the elements from geography, from measuring latitude, longitude, to alchemistry, turning water, turning base metal into gold. So it's that kind of scheme. When jingoism is attached to it, that's where the problem is. I can read charts. I can see charts. It would take some time for me to do it, but I can give a glimpse of it.
I mean, if you would, I could send a picture of mine to your Reddit real quick. I actually have mine saved.
I read Vedic charts.
Oh, so yeah. I mean,
yeah. But if you just tell me which month you're born.
Okay, yeah, May.
May, before 15th or after 15th?
After.
After 15th. So the sun, per Vedic astrology, will be in the Taurus, in the realms of Taurus. Yeah, which is the second house of natural zodiac. Second house of natural zodiac shows the accumulated wealth, wealth that is as in liquid cash, treasures, immediate family. It shows the house that you're born into. So for you, from the sun's position, since it takes the fifth house of natural zodiac through ownership, being poised in the second house, creativeness or the accumulation of knowledge comes through family. Family's influence will be pronounced. The way you speak, it will be creative. It will have artistic abilities attached to it because Sun owns the fifth house of natural zodiac. Sun's position in Taurus means you have karma of your father, which is aching or wanting to be fulfilled through you. I practice micro astrology as in Nadi. They take the finger imprints and they index a person by asking their name, parents' name, and then go very minute, as in milliseconds of the birth. From that point on, I read. I don't generally use the top of zodiac containment, like not a mainstream Vedic astrologer.
Yeah.
So, but why I do it, because if let's say I'm born at 10:30 a.m., yeah, the ascendant in the Vedic astrology, or let's say even any form of astrology, ascendant runs for about 120 minutes. So in that span of 120 minutes, how many birds are incarnated? How many people get born? Do they have exact similar lives? Answer is no, right? Every single individual's life is so unique, like their iris pattern, like their finger imprints. So that novelty or the uniqueness of the charts is seen not just through top of zodiac, but further divisions, Varga divisional charts, harmonics, and or by dividing the nakshatra. So that's where the pattern is absorbed first. That's the blueprint. So birth chart is the blueprint, and as the person ages, the planets move from the birth position, right? That's the progression. It shows the individualized growth of planets for that individual, or from the point of view of the blueprint. And then using these two factors, we approach the dasha system. That is the current travel. The yes, there are 12 houses and 9 planets. They are all active from the point of first breath to the last breath, but given period is dominated by a single planet through dasha. So using the blueprint, which is static, and progressions, which is dynamic, we measure. It's like seeing a train or capturing a train in multi-dimension from station to station.
When you're born, does one planet have way more of an effect than others? Like, are some people more bound to Mercury, or some people more bound to Jupiter? Or is it kind of an even distribution of kind of like the planet's overall effects?
It is never an even distribution. Some modulations, for instance, in some charts, the quality of Mercury will be pronounced. In other charts, quality of Saturn will be pronounced. There are two aspects to it. One is the fate that is fixed, and second is how the fate is distributed. Events happen one at a time, not like you can either get married on the given day or you can get an accident at a given moment in time. So that's where the difference or the major segregation happens between Western and Vedic. Western astrology uses transit, which is tapping into the universal core and trying to use that to time the events. But Vedic uses a specialized sequential scheme of dasha, or the cycle the person goes through. So when a person is born, the effects of Mercury that is pronounced, that factor remains pronounced all through life. The person will be good with words, bookish knowledge. He will be intelligent, quick-witted, humor. These qualities will be eternal throughout the span of life. But will it always manifest? No, it will not manifest. There will be modulation. So the crux of Nadi astrology is planets don't work in just singularity. Planets work as a mixture. So when you say Mercury, Mercury is placed in some house, and it is placed in the degree, minute, and second. So Mercury will take the characteristics of house that is in, the sign that is in, the nakshatra that is in. So Mercury's qualities will be affected by these factors through position. And the house aspects, for instance, marriage, people say seventh house. Seventh house shows everything that we come in contact with, every person, interaction. You are right now my seventh house. You're talking. The words you say are the eighth house, and the words I say from my point of view are the second house. So the manifesting realities or the themes of events are through houses. Let me put it this way. You've seen kids in the school having the coloring book, right? With the predefined silhouette shapes. For example, tree, mountain, everything will be defined in the book. Kids will have a sketch pen, color pen to color them. So fate element is predefined shapes in a kid's coloring book. And the way the kid colors is the planet's effect.
Okay.
There is a teeny bit of free will or the unique aspect attached to it, because from one kid to another kid, there will be a difference in the way they color.
Right. That makes sense. Well, if I'm being honest, I want to go back a little bit and talk about how you got into astrology, because a lot like me, I came from a very, like, this is not something that I would see myself ever being, studying at all. So what was that transition like when you went from a very, what did you say, rational of the time mind to getting into mysticism or astrology? What kind of broke it for you?
I come from a humble background, born in southern sliver of this divine Bharat or India, right? Up to 16, 17 years, pretty much I had zero faith. I did not see a point in buying into this God concept or being religious or driven by faith. I was more into. I started working with Americans at an early age in call centers, so that's how I learned my language too. So what made it is the desperation factor, and why I am having this human form. That question, like everything sucked. Life pretty much made no sense. There is vast in India. Like if you go from one street to another street, you can experience the whole spectrum, from poverty to ultimate sublime richness. So this is that struck at me, and my mother's passing away had a huge impact on me. I just couldn't comprehend why she was sick for so long time, and that's what made inroads to study. And it was quite hard. I mean, I started in 2005. It was not until 2016 I was able to see myself. I will be doing this, these things in next 3 months. That kind of code cracking came after 11 years of studying. I mean, traveling through the subject. It's the desperation factor and the raw, when the life gives it so raw. People try to find the answers. That's what pulled me into astrology.
That's beautiful, and I can certainly see, when we're comfortable, you never really think to dig deep like that. And you saying that that's really what changed you. I mean, that's how you get to the truth of life, because that is the ultimate question of life. Is we're living, we're interacting, and then we pass away. And it's like, I came from very religious families, but they were Christian, and I'm like you're saying, like I read the Bible and I love Christian literature. I love the history behind it, and I study it as historical context, and I even see beauty in the text. But I always knew that there was a little bit more that I wasn't being told of, and then eventually I got to where I am.
Yeah, but you nailed it, right? This is the point. This applies to male, female, anybody from anywhere in the world. So long we are entertained, we are in the comfy zone, we don't see anything behind that point, because we are satiated, right? The sense of the false sense that is pretty much on that. Yeah, that's
And I don't like to go through change, but I know change makes me a better person, but I also know it's painful. So
yeah.
you just got to get through it. What are some other details about your life? I mean, what else are you up to? You know, you're studying astrology, and you obviously have immense knowledge on the subject. But what else defines you?
Simplicity defines me to the core because I have I've seen zero and I've been up to 100 as well. Now back again to the point of zero. I'm a family man. What drives me is to take astrology to another level. That's what drives me. Make it democratize astrology and make it viable. No person can predict other person's minute details. That's a given. Like they can impress, they can give chart readings, which is soothing, healing, helpful. But astrology, when we take it right from drinking a cup of water to absolutely feasting and going to parties, it applies all the time. So with the evolution of quantum computers, artificial intelligence, machine learning, I want to take astrology and to make it more personalized, individualized, and remove the judgmental factor of human beings. And that can be achieved through pattern pattern matching, pattern studies of AI. So that's what I'm working on and searching for investors and training LLM. Um, that's how my day goes. And the question is it real or am I in a delusional space? That question is always burning in me. That's why I do charts in Reddit and socials, just to make sure that the techniques are razor sharp and trained every day.
Right, and I can understand that because I had my spiritual awakening through like CIA gateway tapes. I was going into conspiracy realms, and I was getting to like hypnotists, stuff like that.
Mm, mm,
Eventually,
mm.
I had my third eye open through a series of, like, they're called gateway tapes. It was a CIA studied program. It was like an American science program that studied it. So that kind of led me down the path. Um, but I certainly do see what you're saying, where it's like with the evolution of AI, you know, and business, I see business astrology growing too. I do think people are going to return to that need for astrology as a guiding force. But don't skip out on my actual question, man. What else defines you? I know you're starting businesses in astrology, but I mean, what do you do for fun? What movies do you like? I mean, what else do you do?
What else do I do? I play a lot of guitar. Uh,
Beautiful.
I play guitar and I work my pretty much my breathe in and breathe out is astrology. I'm like nerdy enough to stick with a chart. What drives me is I can say this when you give me a puzzle, chart is a puzzle, right? Human life is a puzzle. To decode, crack it, mathematically very attuned. I like math and I like music. Um, I'm living alone because we're separated and stuff. So my kids give me joy. Um, but other than that, pretty boring person. I mean, I stick to one simple routine, eating in a specific time, because I know, or I should say that I have this realization through Kundalini and the walks of life in specific, right? Both highs and lows with load of cash or no cash, the inner self, illuminating the inner self. That's what it's all about. And elevating oneself so that this will be the last gig as human being. That's where the efforts are towards, like inner stuff, inner me is to go beyond this human form and into enter into the singularity kind of stuff. That's through meditation, through a lot of breathing practices. I rigorously follow Tumo, a Nepalese or a Tibetan old school meditation. Nowadays, It's called Wim Hof, the
Yeah.
Iceman breath work. I do that, and I try to fast. Fasting is an hobby. So it's kind of boring. It's not conspiratorial, or it's not fun, but it's just a simple,
No,
stupid existence. Yeah.
you're locked in. I get it. I stumbled into it through like conspiracy and stuff, but when I got down to it, in order to connect, in order to astral project, in order to do any of that, you have to be pretty boring. You gotta eat healthy, you gotta sleep a lot, you gotta like make your body ready for it. So no, I get it. Right now is a time in your life where you're really figuring out how you can do your life's goal of advancing astrology through what the cards that you're dealt. And I'm similar. I'm trying to, bring out spirituality as a concept into the mainstream where it's TikToks and 1 minute videos. And I'm like, pay attention to something else. But that's the world right now. But no, I'm
Yeah,
glad.
it's a beautiful purpose. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
People, young minds should understand that nothing is free. Uh, free is it's a bogus concept. Don't believe into it. That's my humblest request. Nothing comes free. You have to have ways, means, and an altar, even to pray. You need to have the efforts and discipline to get from one point to another point, whether it's just a walk or professional, personal sphere. So don't get into free, or one person died for us and we are good to go and do anything that we want.
Yeah.
That's not the way the world works. Yeah.
Yeah, I always think about this, especially when, because I live in such a Christian place. If you look into the Bible, one of my favorite quotes for what Jesus said or is written in the Bible is, I have not brought truth. Don't think I've brought truth. I've brought a sword. A lot of these messages are ways for us to combat and like understand the world we're in, not just be like, oh, I'm holier than thou and I know everything. It's like
Yeah.
where you have to have an active effort to understand and learn. And like I said, it's kind of painful most of the time to do this. Change is painful.
Fear is the first step towards the God. And Matthew's 6:11, 6:33, those Old Testament Gospels, verses from the scripture. If one reads with absolute criticality and open mind, we will understand we are not bigger or smaller than anyone else. We're all made in the image of God. And the image of God is a way to attain to Him, or the God concept itself. It's just everything is an equilibrium, so long we imbibe that and infer that. Let's say Shiva comes tomorrow, or Jesus comes tomorrow, any God forms, right, for human inference. You should be having the wits to understand that God is standing in front of you. Otherwise, it's just another thing that is going on. Eye is just 1 inch, or it's very small. The camera lens is so tiny, but it captures. Why it does so? The light channels through and travels so fast. The conscious element, the spiritual element, is the driver and the fuel. Everything is not just a chance. The food that you put in makes who you are. Spirituality is legit. It's more important than organized religions. So I wish you a lot of luck, and may the divine bless you to take the spirituality into the mainstream and make it available, man.
That's what I'm going for. It's certainly difficult, but just gonna keep doing the best I can. I recently had a past life regression. Have you ever dabbled into like past lives or some sort of meditation technique to bring up memories of past lives?
We don't have to put efforts to bring the memories of past life. Let me put it this way: the things that we do in this lifetime are not so different from what we have done in the past lives. We are traveling the same path. We are born as a male man in this life. Perhaps we lived as assumed a human female form in the past life. But the travel that the soul, which is genderless, does is continuous. It's not just a random thing from one birth to another. So past life, God is so kind, or the Tara, I should say, she erases the all the vulnerabilities, all the cringes, all the effects from the past life, and gives a fresh start, so that it's a second chance, or the it's another chance for us to be a better individual, helping and guiding through the evolution process. Past lives, or they are super real, as I am and you are, as in reality. It does exist, but we don't have to make efforts to go back, but rather focus on subconscious. Go deeper, not behind you, not ahead of you, but deep inside of you. The given moment of time when you dive so deep, one way is through astrology, another way is through breathing practices, zeroing and living in the now, the power of now. If we channel through, peers beneath every single layer that we have, as you said, third eyes open, you get to a point of subconscious realm. That's where you can make the corrections. Of course, subconscious manifestations these days are so popular, but they still fall under the laws of physics and probability theory. So you're married and living in a family life. The subconscious will guide you to become much more, live the life more peacefully or purpose oriented. It will not bring you bling. You should have the probabilities, wealth making avenues, and efforts to put on. If you are in professional sphere, roaring business person, then the subconsciousness will give you success in the business. But my quandary is, wake up the inner gods and explore the inner self through subconscious, rather than going in the past. And I'm not so much into past life regressions. Past is a foundation, undeniable foundation. It cannot be changed. So focus on the now, that is as is, so that we can make the future much better, or we are well equipped to face the future's challenges.
I think that's beautifully put, and I always like to see people's perspectives on on all these topics, because you do seem really focused and directed, and especially as I'm learning about this Vedic astrology, I do see how important it is to it is mathematical, it's precise and down to the moment. So I definitely can see your perspective on that. We have covered a lot, and I really appreciate you sharing all this knowledge with me. I always like going back through these interviews because there's so much that I'll hear back the second time. Essentially, if you could say anything to the world, do you have anything that comes to mind?
Don't approach astrology from the lens of binary good or bad, and don't see karma as a punisher, or an evil thing that's going to catch up to you. Karma is from the moment of perception, thought, feelings to action. It is a continuous thing. And one thing that I would say is, time is not linear, never have been and never will be. It's circular. The circle of life should benefit and grow the community. So we are all the same, and be yourself is what I would say. And I would say much big pranams to you, man, for bringing me onto your channel and spending time. I've learned a lot from you, your journey and spirituality from a different perspective. Wish you all the very, very best.
Two quick questions before I let you go. One, where could people contact you if they did want a reading, professionally, of course? And two, what do I got to do in order to get a reading? Because I have like the exact time of my birth and everything, but I don't know exactly what information you need.
To get the reading, I need gender of the person. Name is up to the person if they want to reveal or not. Date of birth and the place of birth. place of birth is as in exact latitude, longitude of the place where you're born, or at least the zip code, pin code of the locality.
Right.
So these are the things: gender, time, date, and place of birth. I'm on Reddit. My email address is 108amsam@gmail.com. People can contact me, and my Reddit profile has my cell phone number, which is 909-242-9791. And I'm in India. So I don't charge a lot, but you'll get value for your money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I always love getting professionals to look at it's always mind blowing when I get a professional look. I'll make sure all that is popped up and linked. But yeah, I think we've covered good ground, and I'll let you go. Krishna, as I said, I'm Lane. I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a good journey, man. I'll let you know whenever I have all this pieced up and looking good, and I'll send you a little link so you'll be able to look at the video and all that. I kind of spice it up a little bit, you know what I mean?
You can ping me on Reddit, man. I will give you readings, no problem. And wish you all the well. We travel, we ride.
Right on, man.
You have a spiritual connection.
Connected?
Connection
There's an almost spiritual connection.
that transcends the physical realm.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
It's spiritual.
Personal and spiritual growth.